as lively stones are built up a spiritual house and holy priesthood to offer up spiritual sacrifices. And then now look at one of those spiritual sacrifices that is shown to us in Hebrews 13 verse 15. He says, by him therefore let us offer the sacrifice of praise to God. You see, exactly what Peter is telling us to say, look, when you truly come to spiritual maturity, you will come to this state of knowing. Just like those of you that have come to that mature stage, you've come to realize that not everything that is put on your plate is good for you. He says, by him therefore let us offer the sacrifice of praise. Because praise is like honey. Praise is like brown bread. It may not be exciting. And this is why you've got to know that when it comes to worship and praise, it is not in the emotionality of the song or the dance. Look at the language that is used. It says, let us offer the sacrifice. And this is why you've got to know that true praise will bring you to a place where even if your emotions are not so much excited, but you know to say, this is the real meal and the real deal. Because praise and worship is something that God demands out of each one of us. You know why? Because, you see, you ask yourself, with all that God has done in your life today, if you look at your life, what is it in your life today that you can say that this one I am doing for God? What in your life can you point at and say, this one I'm doing it for God? If you look, okay, let's begin with, someone may say, Pastor, my children are a testimony of God's goodness. Okay. Look at the surname. Whose surname do they bear? They carry your surname, showing you that they are not really an offering to God. There's something else that God is waiting for. What about your prayer life? Do we make our prayers for God? No, not really. Because again, if you look at, what prayer can you point at that you can say, this prayer is for God. This prayer helps God. Even when we pray the prayers of intercession for souls, when we pray like the way we went to the prison, that work we were doing, ultimately, our society is a beneficiary. Because, you see, when we win the lost, when we preach to the lost and to those that are living a wasted life, when they change, our society becomes a better society. So you can see that even our intercessory prayers, they still work to your advantage and for you. And this is why you notice that what here is pointed out to us is praise. Because look at the definition he gives us of praise, showing us that truly praise is one thing that we do and we do for God. He says, by him therefore, let us offer the sacrifice of praise to God continually. That is the fruit of our lips, giving thanks to his name. You see, praise focuses on God. It's a sacrifice. It has its attention on God. It doesn't give its attention to us. No. This is why You see, when it's time to praise and worship God, that's not the time for you to become mixed-minded, for you to be looking around and being distracted. Because praise is understood by mature Christians. When you find a mature Christian, you will notice one of the hallmarks of maturity is the seriousness that you give to your praise and worship. Because that's one thing that you give to God and which you don't give to man. We don't praise men. We don't worship men. No, not even angels. We worship God. So that one thing that you do for God, why wouldn't you want it to do it well and to do it perfect? Are you getting that?